Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to quickly look here at KuCoin, see what's going on. Of course, if you're not currently a community member, consider joining, of course. I do like to teach people how to trade. I do this every day for a living, been trading for over 15 years. Hopefully you can learn a thing or two here today. If you'd like to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the website, link in the description below. Taking a look here at KuCoin. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and just kind of clarify the obvious here. It's not looking great, but there is a nice strong support level down right around $32. Sorry, 32 cents. Gosh, $32, wouldn't that be nice? So what I want to summarize here is the fact that it's very much aligned with Bitcoin. And, until you can kind of come to the realization or just be okay with that, the sooner, the easier this is going to be for everyone, really. So if we look at, Bitcoin here, just I've been covering this a lot recently. Look at my other video if you want to understand what it looks like. That's pretty much going to be the tell for KuCoin at this point. Yes, Crow has proven to, try to break free from Bitcoin in a couple of instances, but it's had no luck recently. Okay. And again, this being a profitable coin for a lot of, a lot of folks, it's going to be one of the first ones that they're going to sell off if and when the price comes up to a certain point. That being said, looking at the price action here, we're under the 50 and above the 200-day SMA. Not a great sign ultimately. It's kind of working itself into a descending type of pattern here, of course, which once again isn't terrible, but we're gonna have to hit a bottom eventually, right? And we're at a 6 on TD sequential. Bitcoin's at a 5, so the likelihood of us seeing about 4 or 5 more days of continuation of the downside is pretty high. Okay, so again, if you're a big term, a big picture, long term holder for Crow, then I just recommend adding to your position as it continues to leg down. And once a week, put in a certain amount, every time, right? Kind of just add to your position 52 times a year instead of just one time trying to find the bottom, because we truly never know when the bottom will be. But the most recent bottom was 32 cents, as I mentioned before, and the likelihood of it going much lower than that is pretty low, considering the fact that we have a nice, strong amount of volume profile up to that point. There's pretty much a big shelf, though, at that point, and it just drops right off. So anything under 32 would be problematic. We lose 32 for Crow, and there's a good chance it's gonna, I wouldn't say free fall, but it'll come down to test 20 or 30 cents. Okay, just keep that in mind. That's essentially what we're looking at here for KuCoin. Not amazing, but not terrible either. Kind of par for the course for a lot of coins right now. All right, so just keep that in mind. It's kind of where we're at here, of course, here for Crow, and that's the general consensus. Now, looking at the 4 hour, let's see if there's any potential transition. We're still making lower highs and lower lows. Not much different here. We are below both moving averages, I'm going to presume, based on the simple fact that Bitcoin's also exhibiting the same behavior, and it's under the 50 and the 200-day SIP moving average. And look at that, big surprise, all right there. Looking at, of course, the RSI, we're seeing kind of somewhat of a bounce, but that's pretty much the same scenario as Bitcoin as well. So once again, I do recommend you look at my Bitcoin video and help understand what that one's doing, because I do a much deeper dive. But generally speaking, this is exuding the exact same behavior. The MACD convergence, the RSI, they all look the same. And it's not a bad thing, again, like I'm trying to mention here, because it's just a better price point. We got to look at this as a positive. Yes, it's unfortunate, and it's easy to want to lose interest in a coin that does this, but every other coin out there is doing the same thing. I mean, there's a few exceptions, of course, Luna, Ultra. There's a handful of others that are still performing well. Like I think one of the deflationary coins, essentially, some of those can do nice. But in a sense here with Crow, again, I wouldn't get your hopes up that it's just going to ramp right back up. We got to let Bitcoin consolidate and do its thing first. Looking at the 1 hour though, let's go ahead and see the Ichimoku cloud should be telling us that we have we want to close our short position. So this is a constellation. We could see a recovery here based on the fact that if you have a short position, the cloud's basically saying, hey, we got to maybe consider closing that. Obviously, we got some time before the price is back above the cloud, So at this point, it's not telling you to take a long position by any means, but it is kind of a good, helpful understanding that we could be experiencing a point in which Bitcoin's at its exhausted state. It's hitting its bottom, and it might start consolidating this week. This week would probably be a good consolidation phase, is my speculation. I don't think we're going to see a tremendous amount lower just based on Bitcoin having a strong volume profile at the range it's in right now. And we're seeing a lot of resistance, or more so support, at 37.5. That reflects here at about 40 cents as well, /39. So 39 to 40 cents should be the channel we're going to see KuCoin within. But let's just go ahead and say roughly 37 to 43 is probably the channel we're going to expect to see the price traveling over the next few days, just based on, again, Bitcoin's range as well. Okay, so again, just something to consider. I always recommend dollar cost averaging in these cases because, again, The more often you can add to your position, obviously the better off you'll be. And the lower the average will be in most cases too, because we're basically moving down. Okay. So the best thing you can do right now isn't just to save a bunch of money to try to buy the bottom. We don't know when the bottom is in. This could very well be the bottom. But we're making lower highs and lower lows. That just basically means your mindset should shift from, long positions to possibly short trades. And or if you don't want to do that, which I don't recommend if you're newer to trading, just keep adding to your position every time we get these little dips. Set a dollar cost average target at 37 cents, and if you get filled, set it again at 32 and 35. Kind of find the midway points. So I guess to touch on that here, dollar cost average targets for KuCoin based on Fibonacci retracement is obviously 37.60. So we can just say round number 38 cents would be a good DCA target. And secondary to that, we'll go just below this Fibonacci retracement level, about 36. So 36 and 38 cents would be really good targets to shoot for. I don't think we're going to see 32 in the near future, because that would put us at 33 for Bitcoin. And I think 35 is probably going to be the bottom here. Once again, that's kind of where we're at here so far for Crow. Not terrible. That's kind of the case. We'll worry about profit targets later, but I think your profit targets should be on the downward direction, not the other way around, because I don't think we're going to see it jump right back up. Okay, again, we're at a 6 on TD sequential. We've got about 3 to 4 more days worth of continuation of the downside. I think 37 is much more likely to be hit before 43 or 45. Just to give you some perspective there. All right, so that's kind of where we're at there. Hopefully you found benefit, of course, and you want to become a better trader. Consider joining CryptoCache.tech. I've got a trading academy, as well as, of course, the signals that I send out for every single trade that I take. Now, truth be told, we're not taking a lot of signals right now, or not sending a lot, because Bitcoin's been very choppy. We've been converting at a decent rate, about 70% recently, but I still like to have my 80 to 85% average. In most cases, that's usually how I like to trade. And in that sense, we got to be a little bit safer and wait a little bit longer, because Bitcoin, I don't think, has truly found its bottom yet. All right. Hopefully you found benefit. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Take care.